Zombo Joe would need to go some Vikings or something, but look, he's throwing down a few more barracks and tech labs on the barracks he already has, and he's ready to want to macro in this game. But I think he's going to need a little bit more minerals. The income is pretty much even for both of these players, hovering around 1,000 each. But with the mules dropping for Zombo Joe, that's going to give him a little bit of bonus at this point of the game, get his army back up to snuff.
Interesting to see, even after Zombo Joe came out a little unfavorably in that exchange, he still has the slight advantage in food over his opponent, although that can probably come down to the harvesters. A few more for Zombo Joe.
Infantry getting the charge upgrade for his zealots. I think that's going to be very good with these siege tanks. He's just going to be able to swarm in and surround those guys.
Infantry finally throwing down a forge to get a couple of key upgrades.
If you look at the top of the map, you can see that Zombo Joe has a medevac stocked with a couple units moving out. He might be trying to do a little bit of harass with these guys, and really there's nothing in Infantry's base that could defend against this right now. He's actually pushing out. So if Zombo Joe can defend as well as harass with this medevac, he can do a lot of damage at this point. And there the drop goes. He's going straight after a pylon, and he needs to kill that robotics facility before another Colossus finishes.
Infantry recalling his army to defend. He just barely missed seeing that drop coming down the left side of the map, skirted by the Zelnog watchtower. If he had taken control of that, he would have seen it for sure. A couple of zealots cleaning up that drop.
The zealots are definitely going to be able to clean that up. He didn't really need to bring his army back, but he did lose his robotics facility, so that's no more Colossus right now at least, but he's got a lot of warp gates to produce other units that are going to be enough. I think right now if infantry pushed out, I think he could do a lot of damage against Zombo Joe, but you know, you really can't fully tell with the siege tanks how you're going to be able to do. You have to micro so well.
Infantry finally now starting weapons upgrade, ground weapons level 1, throwing down a replacement robotics facility, and also some Templar tech. May be a bit of a blunder, a bit redundant with Colossus and high temps.
And he is pushing out again. I think he might be, yeah, he's going to blink in, I think. Or he might just get vision and be able to take out this barracks. Let's see what Zombo Joe, because he's so bunkered in, if he moves out, infantry may be able to do a lot of damage to him because those tanks are not sieged right now. But he might get blocked in. If he's able to siege these tanks right here. Nope. Yep. And this is going to push infantry away. I think that was handled really well by Zombo Joe.
Zombo Joe, however, has lost a supply depot and is now supply blocked. That will make the reinforcing difficult for him.
He is actually, he's not supply blocked anymore, and he still has a lot. He's not have a lot more psi than infantry, but he's still ahead. Another drop coming in, and really there's nothing in there. There's just a marauder and a marine, but it looks like they're just going to try to take out a pylon, and every little bit helps. And he's also pushing a little forward with his main army. Maybe going to try to take a third, or maybe he's going to try to go after this army, which he just did a scan on.
A little bit of a clash, perhaps, developing around the right.
And here comes the siege. Stemmed up.
Infantry wisely pulling back, dancing around the edge of those range on the siege tanks.
And he's actually doing a lot here. The army from infantry isn't able to do a whole lot of damage, and that was maybe a little bit of a misstep. He was walking around the units, and a lot of them got killed right then.
Infantry, perhaps a blunder, pulling his Colossus separated from his main army would have decimated the marine force of Zombo Joe there.
And that was a lot of units lost, and a whole lot more are going to be lost. Look at all those stalkers going down. If we look at the units lost tab, Zombo Joe still has lost more, but in terms of the resources, it's almost dead even by how much these players have lost. And that high ground
Infantry.
advantage for infantry is definitely going to be beneficial for him there. But Zombo Joe's continuing to push.
Infantry needs to spend off some of the 1,300 minerals he's got. He has not used his Templar archives for anything. I see there's no high temps on the field. Psionic Storm has not been started. That may have been a misclick, the construction of that Templar archives.
Yeah, you got to wonder why you'd need Templars at this point with so many Colossus. But look at how he's doing a lot of damage to this army of Zombo Joe. I don't know if it's going to be enough. He's moving those Colossus back. They're almost dead. He's spawning in as many units as he can. Zombo Joe doesn't have a lot left, so it won't take much for infantry to clean this up. But such an even game so far. The only thing that's going to give Zombo Joe the advantage is I totally missed this third has gone up, and it's completely saturated right now. So he's got 2 mining bases to infantry, who only has 1 right now, and a lot of idle drones.
Oh, and unfortunately, infantry has lost a key pylon powering his Twilight Council, and Blink is stuck with 86 of 110. And if he doesn't seem to have noticed that, he'll want to get a pylon up straight away.
Infantry trying to take out these rocks, going to try to get a third for himself. If he's able to secure this gold, that would really help him catch up to the mineral lead, the income lead of Zombo Joe, who actually 1,700 mineral to 840, I think it's per minute. So he's definitely ahead right there. He needs to hurry up and get that going, but it looks like he's going to long distance mine for a while, probably until that Nexus finishes.
Infantry finally making use of that. Templar Archives has a couple of Archons on the field now, not even bothering with Psionic Storm, going straight to Archons.
If you look at the production tab, Zombo Joe has a lot of units being made. He's got more Ravens, he's got more Medivacs, Hellions, Marauders on the way. He's just continuing to build that army. And with infantry, who's mainly working on economy right now, it's going to be hard for him to keep up with that army, that advantage that Zombo Joe has. A big push coming out for Zombo Joe. Looks like they're about to meet here. It's going to be interesting to see what these Archons do for the army composition of infantry. And he's got Zombo Joe on the run, and it's a little bit of back and forth between these two players. The tank is sieged up in the back, but this is so many units from Zombo Joe, and a lot of those zealots that were getting spawned in were killed before they were even able to make it. The Raven throwing down some auto turrets. Every little bit helps here, and it looks like Zombo Joe's going to win this battle and keep moving on. This would be a perfect time to strike that third that just got up, and that would hurt infantry so bad at this point. Infantry with almost no units. He does have some high Templars right now. He's going to try to get a storm off on these guys, I think. Actually, he doesn't have storm. He only has feedback, so he's not going to be able to do a whole lot with those guys. This army is just so big and scary right now for Zombo Joe.
Infantry is mined out of both gas in his main. Probes are standing around idle. I don't think he realizes. May have been an error not getting storm. He might not have realized that he didn't have it.
Zombo Joe with 28 Marauders at this point, almost a complete Marauder army, just 17 Marines. Right now, he's still producing both Marines and Marauders. He's getting Banshees. He has got such a varied unit composition. Actually, both of these players do, but with just the sheer size of Zombo Joe's army, it's becoming more and more difficult for infantry to do anything.
Zombo Joe has so many medevacs on his army. That Colossus goes down with 0 kills on it, doing a great job.
And there's the push and the GG. Really good game between these two players. It was neck and neck for a long time, but Zombo Joe was able to get his expand down earlier and really keep his army big and beefy almost the entire game, and I think that's where infantry fell behind.
Really, I think the third that Zombo Joe took and the very late third of infantry, that was the advantage that Zombo Joe needed to clinch the win.
All right, thanks, guys. We will see you in Game 2.